Hey, this is Kasket, February 1st, 2015, our first real snowfall. Actually, this is going to be happening pretty soon. 104 degrees, it's about 25 outside, and it's snowing so hard. But today, we're going to do a Hungarian chicken recipe. Csirkepaprikas. Come on inside. Meet me at the stove. We'll get in the hot tub later, but let's get the recipe going first. So as I was saying out at the hot tub, it's a snowy February day. I thought it'd be a good day to make Hungarian chicken, also known as Csirkepaprikas. This is a recipe that's been in my family for probably 50 years. My grandmother made it, my mom made it, now I make it. So it's a very simple recipe, and you got to check this out if you've never made this before. Now don't get thrown off. Later in the recipe you're going to see some extra chicken on the stove. That's because this is such a hot item here in this household. Chicken goes fast, so I'll make 2 helpings or 2 servings of the chicken. But we'll get started with the first one. It's very simple. Some cut chicken, legs and thighs. If you want some breast, you can put in there. If you want the wings, you can put that in there too. That's not a problem. I got an onion chopped up, 4 tablespoons of shortening. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of salt. I find that a little bit too heavy, so I cut it back to a heavy teaspoon. Just under a tablespoon would be fine. A teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. Get a pepper mill if you don't have one. And a tablespoon of paprika. And I usually go a little heavier than that, maybe a tablespoon and a half. If you can find the sweet Hungarian paprika, go with that. It does make a difference. And a cup and a half of water. So we're going to first start by sweating the onions down and then sauteing the chicken for about 10 minutes. So we'll see in just a moment. A couple of things I forgot to mention a moment ago. Using egg noodles, we're going to boil those up, and when the chicken is done, which just takes about an hour, we're going to put the pan drippings in the pot with the egg noodles. The other thing is you're going to need a 16-ounce cup of sour cream, and that's going to go in after we remove the chicken from the pan drippings, and that's going to be stirred in. All that goes into the pot. The chicken will be arranged on top. So let's start with the onions. So we got the onions sauteing. We'll just do those for a couple of minutes. Then we're going to add our seasoning. Start with paprika, pepper, and the salt. Very simple. Give that a moment to combine. Now we'll add our chicken. I'm going to saute these and turn them over a couple of times. Maybe about 10 minutes. So we're flipping the chicken halfway through. It's been about 5 minutes or so. We're going to let that go. About 5 more minutes. Add a cup and a half of water to it. Cover it. Let it simmer. Probably about 45 to 50 minutes until it's tender. Alright, so chicken's been sauteing for about 10 minutes. Looking good. Smelling amazing. I'm going to add a cup and a half of water. I'm going to cover it and let that simmer for about 45 or 50 minutes. Now I told you I'm making a second batch, so that's what I got going over here. And in about maybe 25 or 30 minutes, I'm going to get the pot of water boiling. We're going to boil our egg yolks, and we'll be back shortly. Well, the chicken's been simmering for about 35 to 40 minutes. thought I'd show you what it looks like at this point. Maybe about 5 minutes ago I did turn them for the first time. Boy, I wish you could smell it in here. Quite amazing. Everybody's hungry. So we got about 20 more minutes of simmer time and the chicken will be about done. It's already tendered up quite a bit at this point. I probably should mention the original recipe calls for dumplings, gamboch, and they're made of 3 beaten eggs, 3 cups of flour, 3 to 6 tablespoons of sour cream, tablespoon of salt, half a cup of water, and you mix that together and you drop the batter into boiling water and you let them cool for about 10 minutes. Rinse them with cold water to stop the cooking process, and then you can add them right to your Paprikash recipe. But honestly, the egg noodles work just as well. Everybody's happy with the egg noodles. Okay, so we've been in the pan for about an hour, and we're going to remove this chicken onto a plate. I'm going to combine both pans into one. Looks like we were running a little bit low on juice here. Well, while we're at it, because we're having so much fun here, might as well show you removing the chicken from the second batch. We're going to add our sour cream into the mixture. Be back in a moment. Okay, all the chicken's removed on a plate. That's it. Again, egg noodles are boiling. Now, because I only have one hand, I went and I put the sour cream in. I just dumped it in the middle. But I'm going to show you the technique that we use here. The pan drippings that the chicken cooked in, we're just going to take a fork and we're just going to stir in the sour cream until it's well mixed. This is going to go over the noodles. And you can serve it in a bowl with a couple of pieces of chicken positioned on top, bone in. Let me tell you, I rarely have leftovers, even after making a double batch of chicken. I'm on a non-stick pan, so I'm being very careful with my fork against the bottom of the pan. Okay, that's about done. I'll be back in a moment for the next step. Okay, last step. Noodles are finished. We're going to add our mixture to the pot of noodles. Mix it in, let it heat thoroughly, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's ready to be served. Okay, last step is add the mixture to the noodles. Stir it through. Okay, if you're going to serve this, you could place the chicken on top of the noodles. I'm going to put it back on the stove and let it heat for a few minutes. It'll be ready to serve. We'll plate it up and we'll show you the final outcome. Okay, we're finished. Got our noodles, plate of chicken, and the final product. Very, very tender. We've already tried it. The noodles and the sauce and the whole mixture is just amazing. You've got to check this out. Hungarian chicken, Csirkepaprikas. All right, I'm eating 2 bowls of this, and I'm heading out to the hot tub. See you later. Hey, you found me. Hungarian and chicken in my hot tub. What? This is the best. Life is good.